Ready?
Yeah. Greetings and salutations, race fans and Dakar racing lovers, and welcome to our show, the Raceday show, of the first day of proper racing. I'm Colin, joined by Clifford.
That's me.
It was a great day for South Africans today, Cliff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, South Africans shining in all different formats, but obviously talking point on the bike side, Ross Branch from Botswana is the guy now. And then, yeah, very impressed with Bradley Cox coming in fourth. So, yeah, good result, but all the South Africans flying the flag.
So we decided we've got a choice between cars and bikes to talk about first. We don't know who's going to do it first, so we'll just short straw starts. Which one you want?
I don't know why you're always so obsessed with length, but I'll take that one.
Size does count, Clifford.
I think for once I've got the longest straw.
Yeah, I drew the short straw. So, South Africa. Our purpose today is to try and have a little bit of, bring you some facts first of all, and then some feelings, and lastly a little bit of fun. And that sound, Cliff, if you can.
I'm getting rid of it.
We've got all sorts of things. We're going out live today on Facebook and the YouTube. And for today, please, if you've got any questions or comments, use the YouTube, because that's the one that we're going to respond to just for tonight. From tomorrow, we'll have our full social media team of people on the go. So let's just start with the facts. We have facts, feelings, and fun. That's what it's supposed to be about.
All right.
The winner today, Jerome Demevius in the Hall Speed, absolutely flew today, had a totally dominating race. In fact, the talking points really is the speed of the Toyotas and the speed of the Audis, and then what about the Hunters? Running through second overall, King Carlos and the Audi. Third was Janelle de Villiers. What a brilliant drive, starting 48th, comes in third overall. And then from a South African point of view, it starts getting a little bit interesting. If you see my notes here, all these scribbles down the side here are the changes in position, because right up until the second or the last waypoint before the finish of the race, Guy Bottrell was having an absolutely storming ride, close to just over a minute behind behind Demevius, and then he finished eighth on the road. Then he got a 7-minute 40 penalty, so Bottrell finishes in the results. It's 15th. Seradori in the Century, a great 8th position, and that's in the two-wheel drive Century. Four-wheel drives, we'll talk about them a little bit later, but Seradori was there. Ekstrom, we have to mention him, led most of the event, finished 9th overall. Variawa, Sohud Variawa, 14 minutes off the lead, 10th position overall. Brilliant race from Sohud. Brian Baragwanath in the CR7 T1 Plus four-wheel drive Century came in 16th position after starting 30th. Nani Roma, we have to mention Nani Roma in 17th position in the Ford. And then Guy Bottrell, as I said, in 15th. Sebi Loeb, 6 times he's come second. This was his year, the way he was going to win it. He was going to have a full-on go. And finished 18th. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Seth Quintero, 21st. Nasser Al-Attiyah, 22nd. Peter Hansel, 24th or 23rd, depending on how the penalties are coming in thick and fast today. Gareth Woolridge, 42nd. And then Henny de Klerk and Jean Moore in the Treasury One WCT Toyota are still out there. They're running. They started 71st this morning. They're running, looks like about 53rd position, but they've got another, just before we started, at about another 25 minutes to get in. Those are the highlights of the results. And as I say, we're focusing just on concentrating mainly on the South African influence. In the top 10, 7 of those cars were designed and built in the Joburg, Kyalami area. 6 Toyotas, 1 Century, 2 Audis, and 1 Mini in the top 10. What a fantastic result for South African motorsport. 2 South African crews in the top 10. You have to be super proud to be a South African right about now. So, bikes. What
Yeah.
happened?
So I mean, interesting one. So obviously it's a massive stage. I think grip on bikes is a little bit different to the cars. But looking at the landscaping and the course, 414 k's of dunes, some grassy lands, which is a little bit slippery, and then obviously some camels that they had to get around. But yeah, great start to the round. Obviously, it was Mason Klein who was out the gate first, starting from the prologue. Obviously, after the starting rounds had all been finalised. And yeah, he's had an interesting one, obviously American-based, but he's an interesting one with his bike being the last one to be pretty much ready for the race, because there was delays in that at the border, so it was like 5 days late to arrive. So I mean, he's had a rush start to the Dakar. But
What make a bike is that?
so that's a cove, which is, I mean, you were telling me about this outside, but yeah, never really heard of it before. But you know quite a bit on this, because it's Chinese made. But take us through that, because I was quite interested. You were actually educating me for once.
They say it's they're the fourth largest manufacturer of bikes over 300 cc's in China, and their mission is to sell what they race. And arriving apparently in South Africa in January is the Rally Replica Edition. It's got carbon fiber tower in the front, it's got titanium exhausts and all the powers and things and what's that you could ever want. They say that you could just put the navigational equipment on it and go racing.
Yeah, which is, I mean, that's
Fantastic.
impressive. Yeah, it's nice to have something like that straight out the gate. So yeah, new brand, obviously for me and for a lot of us, but sounds proper. Looks like it's the real deal. So obviously he was out the gate first, and then yeah, it got interesting over the course. So the prologue winner, Tosha Sharana, he's obviously, I mean, he's got 2 top 13 finishes over the last 2 years. So he's a contender. Gets over 200 k's and then has a massive crash. And Ross Branch, who at that stage was the overall leader because he was hauling on that hero, stops to help him, and yeah, loses about 25 minutes over that time. I mean, obviously Sharana has been airlifted. I believe he is stable from the reports that I've read, but yeah, Ross Branch climbs back on his bike and hauls some more. Finishes the event or the round in 16th, but given the time back, which is quite lacquer. So 25 minutes back, which yeah.
Only fair that they do that, and you want to encourage people to stop.
Yeah.
And
So I think in the spirit of any race, that's fantastic. I mean, if you look at normal racing, and that's, I mean, if it was me and there wasn't any time back and he was a contender, you probably get off the bike and kick him just to make sure he's not going to get back up, so that you can take the stage. But yeah, I think in terms of sportsmanship and what Dakar's about, I think that's fantastic. So yeah, very fair that that's done. So yeah, so going from 16th to top and taking the overall win of the stage, and by 9 minutes, which is insane.
yeah,
So,
I mean, that is a proper hammering in bikes. It is ginormously huge.
yeah, I mean, I heard, I mean, we were chatting off air and that, but I mean, like last year, the overall win that was like under 2 minutes. So if you're looking like 25 minutes to stop and to help someone, that's your race gone. But to be stage 1 lead with 9 minutes, that's a good advantage. So.
And what bike's he on again, Cliff?
So I mean, of course, he's on a hero, and I mean, you
So
know,
Rossi is the hero.
Rossi is the hero. I mean, it couldn't work out better for us. So yeah, I mean, like he's obviously on a race spec hero, but I mean, we've got the X-Pulse here in South Africa, which has the same sort of racing DNA that gets filtered through from the labs in Germany and Italy from the designers and that, and then obviously pushed through to the guys in India. But yeah, obviously that technology, if it keeps getting filtered down, exciting times for us here in South Africa, because we could have some Ross Branch replicas running around our streets shortly.
That would be super cool.
Super.
Round 4 ways, but
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have a good fight on a Friday night and use your hero as a getaway. But yeah, let's get into that. But yeah, Ricky Brabick was the overall winner, but obviously now moved down to second because of the time penalty and Ross Branch moving up. And then we've got Mason Klein on that cove. So yeah, I mean, frantic start for him, but obviously the adrenaline was pumping from before they even started the race, and he's finished in third. Then Bradley Cox, I mean, yeah, not one of the main in the main categories in that, but in Rally 2 in the 4th place. So I mean, obviously it's in their DNA to be.
you
quick.
can just see Alfie tonight beaming from ear to ear.
Yeah, and I mean it's such a good start, you know. So the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of stages and a lot of racing to go, but you know, if you can get the nerves and the butterflies out the way and get the conditions under your belt and get the bike sort of working, then what a great way to start. But obviously going down. I mean, Bradley Cox was 4th, and then Kevin Benavides, which is defending champion, and he finished in an 8th. So he's always the guy. But I think there's so many good riders that are out there at the moment. I mean, Joan Barreda is a stage winner, and I mean he doesn't feature in the top 10, also on a hero. But I mean, he hasn't featured yet. So I think a lot of guys are going to come through. I'm sure it comes down to consistency. But then looking at our South African guys, we've got Moore in 34th. Thrigston from Zimbabwe, finishing in 44th with Karen Fitzgerald 45th, and then Ronald Fenter down in 64th and Stuart Gregory 76th. So
we're missing one.
We are missing one. And I was going to bring that up in the crashes, but if we go down, Michael Doherty had a crash at the 318k mark, and it sounds like it's his hip. Also, unfortunately, had to take a trip to casualties in Alula. So for him, it looks like his race is done, unfortunately.
Kindly, Ian Pepper, just before we went on, and thank you very much, Ian. Appreciate your input, and we'll follow your boy. Good news, nothing fractured, only battered and bruised from a good tumble. He'll be kept overnight for observation, and more updates in the morning. Thank you once again for all your support, and that comes from his family, which I think is absolutely magic. So thanks, Ian, again for that.
Because I mean that's the last thing you want is Oaks to get badly hurt, you know. So But
he was running second at one stage for quite a while behind Ross.
Yeah, and he had good pace. But obviously, I think when you're pushing that hard, I mean these things happen. But I think in terms of proving a point in stage 1, I mean that's a massive point to prove, you know. But it's just a pity we couldn't see him progress over the next few stages, and that because tomorrow is another big one, you know.
Racing is hard. Tomorrow we got a really, really big one, 462 k's, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So what else, fill us up more with the bikes, what else happened?
Yeah, so I mean, just basically looking down the order, the crashes net. I mean, Shireen is the big one. Obviously, Ross stopping to help him, so that's his arm. So he also, I think he's pretty much done. And that was at the 240k mark, and then Joaquim Rodriguez also on a hero. Definitely not the bike's fault, but crash at the 82k mark. Looks like his race is done as well. So. A lot of racing in that done, but the times were pretty close in the midsection. But I mean, obviously we're very proud of Ross and what he's put out there on the hero.
But we must remember that this is day 1.
No,
there's 12 more stages, or 11 more stages.
There's like 5,000 kilometers left still to go. You know, it's crazy. It's all good stuff for the South African boys. I mean, obviously all of them being in the top 100, that speaks volumes for the talent we have in this country.
Yeah, the South African takeover of Dakar is...
especially in the cars, eh? I mean, how's that? There are a number of tracking sites, and there's a Dakar app, and the FIA have got their tracking site, and there's another one that we use. And the thing is, with today's race and where people are starting, there were some really, really fast cars starting way down. Janil de Villiers, where did he start? 43rd. So you had to wait a minimum of 45 odd minutes before the timing was coming along. And it gets very excited where we see like the first 2 cars that go past the checkpoint, and this guy's in first and second. Everybody gets super excited. This is a long game. It's not a slam bam, thank you ma'am. And it's sometimes... I mean, I got caught up with it a whole lot. I started writing notes down here, and I've had to cancel everything. I mean, I've got, just for instance, on Baragwanath, it went from 7th to 13th to 12th to 16th. I can't even read the writing there at the moment. So to just beware of the tracking and some of the information that comes out. People get very excited and want to be first with sharing the news. Patience. Wait the time, and then wait for the penalties to come through. Because I was already super excited. I had Bottrell in, pick a number. There's 6, 7, 8, and eventually it's 15. When we started this show, but we don't know what penalties have come in, and the stewards are stewarding and the officials are officialing, and information is coming in about who did where and what. But from a car point of view, in my talking points, really there's 3 things. Audi are fast.
but are they sandbagging? We saw Matthias Ekstrom leading and Carlos Sainz second for a long, long time. And some background on that, before the race, or for this year, Audi were given another 21 kilowatts on their, what they say is an electric vehicle. But let's just unpack this four-wheel drive
I want
Audi.
to ask you, though, just to jump in there, you say sandbagging. What would they benefit from sandbagging in a race like this?
Okay, can we?
Am I
can
jumping
we,
the gun?
No, it's a brilliant question. So they were given 21 kilowatts because I think the Greenie movement really wants some kind of an electric key car to be successful against a proper suck, squeeze, bang and blow 'em car. And so Audi have got, it's got electric motors in it, it's got a battery pack, and then it has a generator. Not your normal
ESCOM generator.
that one would go down to Chamberlain's and buy. It has an DTM German touring car motor that is optimized to run at absolute fuel efficiency at 1 RPM, and that drives a Mahusive generator. So they run clearly less fuel than the proper cars.
Yeah.
And so it'll pull off and drive around all electric. But the minute it wants to get going, the motor gets to, and I'm told it's around about 5,200 RPM, starts generating at max fuel efficiency and then pumps all the power out. So it gets 21 kilowatts. Now, coming to your question about balance of performance, the whole idea is that you can run, in theory, a normally aspirated engine against some of the turbo engines, and they should be equal.
Yeah, okay.
That's the theory.
Yeah, right.
And then you can run them against a hybrid car, and they should all be the same. But we know that the petrol and the normally aspirated and the turbo car, the normally aspirated has got no chance at the moment with the current balance of performance of staying anywhere near a turbo car. It is proven it's impossible at the moment. So in order for the green movement to get where they want to go,
and it's a big movement, because they're promoting it everywhere. So I can see that this is the focus going forward. Yeah.
One of the best news things I saw today was there's an appeal in California where they are now trying to rescind the ban on petrol cars for sale from 2035. With the modern efficiencies, in my opinion, and of the little bits of research and science that I am aware of, a petrol car puts far less damage to the earth than an electric car. But that's a discussion for another way. So now they give them 21 kilos. Audi go out and they drilling. I mean, he was 6 minutes ahead at one stage. 6 minutes in today's stage is ginormously huge. And then all of a sudden, they slow down and they don't win. So now it's a case of if they'd won by 6 minutes immediately in the first, up until the rest day, the FIA can adjust the balance of performance. And if you win by too much, then they just take some of that 21 kilowatts back.
Okay.
So that's my opinion. They look good. They are super fast, and they've got some really, really good drivers. And their results today, I think are third and ninth.
Okay.
Ekstrom's very Awe in 10th is 14 minutes 34 off the lead. So that's overall at the moment, and that's right. So thank you for the watchers of the watching brief. Henny de Klerk in the Treasury One and John Moore in the Treasury One WCT Toyota have just finished the stage, and it looks like they're in 83rd position. That last section was devilish, 88th. Thank you very much. I need to listen to the voices in my head, including the one in my ear. So that's my story of the Audis and why I think they may be sandbagging.
Yeah,
I may be wrong, but that's what I think.
It makes perfect sense because you don't want to get to the last few stages and then have that taken away from you. So as long as you stay in contention, then it becomes a little bit easier at the end there. So
absolutely.
It makes perfectly good sense. I mean, whether it's conspiracy or not, we'll see. But
never put down a good conspiracy story, Clifford.
But throwing it back to you, said like a lot of time penalties thick and fast. What are the guys been penalised the most over these stages? Do you know?
Yesterday it was for wrong routing.
Yeah.
It will be for wrong routing. Guy's penalty, I'm not sure. We're trying to find out what it is. But so the penalty gets issued, and then the paperwork happens, and the publication of the paperwork is a little bit slow. So we're still trying to find that out. So just on some of my other notes, and thanks very much, Terence Marsh, for your contribution. And it's really nice that we actually see all the contributions from peoples all over the world, and especially those of you in Saudi, in the bivouac. We know when signal allows, you have a good look. Hello, Stuart Gregory. And hello, Mr. Ekstrom. Thank you for watching again. It's always great to have you with us. The Audi, I'm told, some costs of these vehicles. Costs 23 million rand for the ProDrive to buy.
Okay.
The Audi costs, according to sources, 2 million rand per day to run at Dakar. Now, that is
way above my pay grade, yeah?
It's an F-ton of money.
Yeah.
It is huge. But if you want to win the most complex race in the world, the biggest endurance race in the world, sorry Le Mans, sorry Nürburgring 24, that's what you've got to do. To put that into perspective, a Hall-Speed Toyota, if you could buy one now, the latest Evo one, would be somewhere in the region of 14 million rand, made in Joburg. You can't buy them, by the way. So that was just some talking points about the Audi. My other one was the ProDrive. Big things with Sebastian Loeb. 6 times he's come second. Is it 7 or 9 World Rally Championships he's won? He is desperate to win Dakar. He finished 18th today, and Al Attiyah 21. They shed time consistently. We're not aware of any issues. We know that some of the suspension components were a little bit fragile in previous races. And when a race finishes this late, before we go live, it's very, very difficult to get the information, but we'll find it. And if you've got any questions and queries, stick them on the YouTube, and Cliff will keep an eye on that, and when we get them, we'll talk about that. So ProDrive, 23 million rand.
Sure.
Coming in, well, we've got Seth Kantera in 21st, who's a rookie who beats them. Bottrell with a 7-minute penalty who beats them. And then you've got 18-year-old Saud Veriawa coming in 10th position and beating them as well. So, don't know about that. Then the other one was a Toyota Pace. And essentially, the two-wheel drive one, I'm told, is about 380,000 euros, so multiply by 20, about 7 and a bit bar. And the four-wheel drive one will be somewhere in the region of 10, depending on rand exchange rate. Siradori in a two-wheel drive Century, and that has still got its legs in it. It's a brilliant drive, and they're running the smaller restrictors on that as well with the Chevy motor in it. So 8th in that is very, very impressive. So the Toyota Pace, we saw in the prologue how quick they were. We saw again today, when you start looking at 6 Toyotas in the top 10, is quite dominant. And the cars seem to be very reliable. The tyre issues seem to be addressed, but it's a long race. We don't know. So that was the one thing. And then I've got the last one I want to talk about. The talking point immediately for now is 3 drivers: Guy Bottrell, Saud Veriawa, and Janil de Villiers. Janil is 52-ish, I think. This is his 21st Dakar. And for a long time, people have said, well, he might be a little bit off the pace and a little bit lacking on the speed department. Today, he starts 48th from the back and finishes 3rd, which is just an incredible performance. And for somebody who he's notorious for his mechanical sympathy on his cars, and I think that is a brilliant, brilliant result from de Villiers. Bottrell and Veriawa, both rookies, and Veriawa comes in 14 minutes off the lead in 10th place overall, which considering the build-up that he had and the last race in South Africa in the South African Rally Raid Championship, he had rather a large crash. I think he learned from that. During testing, I'm told that he had some issues with two cars spontaneously rolling down dunes. But I think he's learned a whole lot from that. And to come in on his first stage in Dakar in the top 10 is absolutely fantastic. And then we get to Guy Bottrell. And with Brett Cummings is driving with him. And I was speaking to Simon Vasey-Lau a little bit earlier to try and get some information on why the penalty. And he made a joke that possibly it was for a nerve-calming substance that Brett had to take for sitting next to Brett in that thing. He caught up time, a whole lot of time. He started, the numbers are, he started way down the field, and yes, there might have been tracks and it might have been a highway, but the T1 cars, the T1 Plus cars, they plow the sand completely. And he got to just over a minute behind Demevius behind Saints, who was leading at that time. And then they broke a right rear shock, and they decided to stop and take the shock off and then carry on. So he lost time with that. He lost 2 or 3, 5 or 6 minutes with that. And then he got his 7-minute penalty. But so to those three, the old man and the kid and the middle generation, De Villiers, Verriawa, and Bottrell, I salute you for 3 magnificent drives, and I think we could be very, very proud of the speed. Without the penalty, we would have had 3 South Africans in the top 10.
That would have been impressive.
Drivers.
These things happen, but like I said, it's
a long race.
Yeah, so many stages still to go. Just to touch in here, we've got some guys tuning in from YouTube, and there's some stuff here for you, Colin. So we've got Llewellyn says, evening all, interesting day, which as we all agree, yeah.
It's Dakar.
Yeah. And then
thanks, Llewellyn.
Evan Marburg, CR7 will get going. Patches, good evening, gents. The Muller's Adventures and Sports, good evening. All great to have updates. Thanks a lot, guys. From Turkey, and I'm going to give this a crack, Bilal Chakar, thanks from Turkey. And then here we've got some stuff for you, Colin. France or Pretorius, guys, what is the issue with Janelle shown in position 136?
I have just seen that now, so furiously I'm going to the position that I've got.
While you furiously scroll on your phone, Cosmonauts, greetings from Joburg, and then Demetrius Apokinas. NASA had 2 punctures, so slowed down as he had no spares. So that's quite interesting. I don't know if you knew that at all.
Yeah, but everybody had punches and not that much time. Not 24 minutes of slowing down.
Yeah. So it's.
George, let's just go to the De Villiers thing. I've just updated the official app.
And then, Raceday also says, our guys there at the back office, Janelle is 3rd. So
yeah, I've still got Janelle at 3rd.
Okay.
But we don't know, penalties may come.
Yeah, so, this obviously, do you know?
Oh, there we go.
Do you know?
There's at the moment, these are the unofficial standings as we've got them.
Yeah,
we've got to go with what we've got.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there sort of like a cut-off in terms of time for the results to be finalised? I mean, how long have they got? Because you could go to bed thinking you're 3rd and wake up 136th. Like, is there sort of a cut-off time that everything's got to be finalised, or is it an ongoing process? Do you know?
Well, let's put it this way: the classifications for stage 1 are still not final.
Okay.
So the prologue classifications, we've got unofficial classifications, but for the stage 1, the prologue are still not final.
Okay.
So there's a lot of penalties. That need to be appealed, and there's a joke about that, but we won't go there. So there's a lot of appeals, and they will be. We'll wait. We've got to wait and see. It's a long race. We've got 2 weeks to go.
Yeah, but hectic. But I want to go back to
what was the other question that was there?
I think that was it. It was just about the punctures was the comment, and then obviously the Janelle with down in 136 back up to 3rd, back down to 136 back up to 3rd. Something I did observe, and maybe you can touch on this a bit as well, is On the cars, I did a bit of research on that, but most of the drivers, like you're going through, some of the guys like Janelle de Villiers and Sebastian Loeb, those not young guys. They've been doing it for a long time, and it seems like the drivers are older. It's very rare that you see youngsters that they've put a car in the hands of an 18-year-old kid or whatever the case is. They are one or two, but most of the guys seem like they're more established drivers. Any thoughts on that?
You mean older guys?
I mean, older guys.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look, those older guys will probably still moor me, so I'm not going to throw anything out there. I'll say well established, yeah.
Okay, I love the respect that you've got there. Carlos, over 60.
Yeah.
Stefan Peter Hansel,
Yeah.
over 60.
Yeah.
Janelle de Villiers, not quite 60 yet. I think he's 52, 53.
Okay.
Nasser Al Attiyah turned 52 earlier this month. Sebastian Loeb. You've got to win Dakar consistently, you need to have years and miles of experience to be able to go fast and to still look after the car. So you're right. So the chances of a youngster coming in and winning, I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they are obviously are fast guys, but I think, yeah, they've got to cut their teeth. The experience always comes through in these sort of things, especially over such a long period. But, yeah, it was just something I observed. Some of the bike riders as well, not necessarily youngsters. I mean, obviously, the Aussies and the Americans are always cowboys and that, but when you're looking at the European riders, some of the South African riders, that more established guys, you're not seeing 22, 23-year-olds coming through. The guys have been around for a long time.
Well, Ross is not a spring chicken now, is he?
Yeah, for sure. But he still looks to be like the more of the younger generation coming through, as opposed to like Bereda and those sort of guys, which seem a little bit older.
Yeah, and Ross is supremely fit. Sorry, the results are coming in.
Yeah,
like news is coming in, so but there's no change. It was just Janelle is in third place. So from tomorrow, the stage results from today are the overall results. They'll start tomorrow. And so they'll start in this order. And there is a chance, if you're a seeded driver, that you can play a wild card and get a reseeding for the start. But we'll only have the start lists published much later tonight once all the cars have finished. And I'm not sure how many cars, if our research department can just check how many cars have actually finished today. We know that there were, well, because if you select cars on one of the apps, it combines some trucks and the cars and the Challengers, or what used to be the T3 cars, puts them in. But before we do that, tomorrow stage 2, we'll have the stage results, and it's accumulated time from now on that goes in there. But man, we're in for an exciting race. So tomorrow it's a 462 kilometers of racing, 73 kilometers of liaison. So they'll go from the bivouac where they are tonight in Al Hanakiya, and they're going to
I'll do a Dimi. I speak the language of the people, so I'm all good. But
thank you very much.
So yeah, gonna be proper. I mean, some of the things I did observe over today, which I enjoyed. Something interesting. Kevin Benavides has got his brother racing, and all the stuff I've seen on him is all about him stepping out of his brother's shadow. So he's been racing since 2018, but I just look at that kind of stuff, and like if you've watched anything I've done over all the years with Hanging Cable and that, I'm very much like a mental guy. So looking at that, I just feel like he's always going to be in his brother's shadow if that's the stuff that they're putting out there. So I found that quite amusing, because he's on a Husky. He seems pretty quick. I mean, he was up in the top 20 quite a bit. He's done pretty well, and I mean, he's got a good track record. But yeah, just looking at that, I just think like mentally, for those guys that are so strong, he could be a little bit fragile. And then Sam Sunderland, at one stage I saw on the Dakar, just a snippet, and they put out a thing, their crash was safe, but I have never in my life seen a bike go so sideways.
How did he do that?
But I feel like it's just wheels in motion and momentum. But I mean, he kissed the handlebars for sure, and just carried on going like nothing had happened. I mean, if I do that on a track with perfectly conditioned tarmac, I get off and have a couple of minutes with shaky knees and that. But I mean, I've never in my life. These oaks are next level. Hey?
Their skill sets
it's crazy.
And it's the same for the drivers and in the cars.
For sure.
They are totally next level.
Because it's just flat out on unprepared terrain. It's insane.
Although the comment is that the Glyn Hall, the legend, he tries to coach them always to drive at about 80%, so that you delay the onset of the crash. His version of it is, at 80% you're going to crash once in a Dakar. At 90% you're going to crash at least once a week in Dakar. At 95% you're going to crash once a day. At 100% you're going to crash a couple of times a day. So the more you're absolutely on the limit, the less you're hurting the vehicle, number one, giving the mechanicians a lot more work to do. And once you crash the thing, it's a finish.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, yeah, you're just wearing out the equipment if it's flat out all the time. So it makes perfect sense. Few more things just thrown up here on YouTube. So it's nice to see the guys interacting with us.
Yeah, obviously, thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. Any question
really cool.
that you want to ask, just ask it.
Yeah.
So if we don't know, we'll say we don't know.
Because I figured we were going to be relying on your good looks to get viewers in, but obviously you know a few things, so away we go. But Priscilla Mouton from the Portgieter Racing Team, good luck to all SA teams. Thanks Raceday TV for the update. To Toy Opperman, thank you guys for the show. The old guys' cars and bikes are hanging back. The empty quarter is coming. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good point there. And then, these guys are testing me with my pronunciation today. But Demetrius Apokinas, are Hilux's T1 Plus run by Overdrive? Are built in SA by Hall Speed?
Yes.
They are. Okay.
So they run. It's a combination effort. Overdrive supply the logistics. And built cars built here in South Africa with all the spares, built and shipped and flown. I think they had 7 pallets of air freight that went out, including cars, just before the race. And then Overdrive supplies infrastructure and logistics. But the mechanicians on the factory Toyota Gazoo Racing, those 5 cars, are all South African. And just having a look at the pictures, there's 5 mechanicians per car. There's 2 guys in the spares truck, and there's a runner. It's a huge operation.
Yeah, just to get that all sorted like at the right time in January is. But I mean, obviously, the progress happens over a long period of time. But to get everything happening, is amazing. And then Kevin Retief, and this is a good point, and we touched on it, but maybe not enough on my side. It's funny, something for me. But Kevin Retief, what do you think about Brad Cox's performance today? And we all hyped about Ross, and I mean, rightly so, but. We can't discount the fact that 4th place for a youngster coming
on a Moto 2 bike.
Absolutely, yeah.
Top class. So if I had to vote for a rider of the day,
has to be him. And that's the thing. Is like a couple of years ago. I mean, we didn't have as many South Africans in it. So if a guy finished in the top 20, we were begging the president for a public holiday. But I mean, we've got so many South Africans in the top 20, top 50. It's insane. So I mean, you can't discount the fact. But outstanding ride from Brad. It's next level, really.
So I'm just making a note here. So on the bikes, we've got Bradley Cox. Now, I suppose I have to choose a driver of the day on the South African side. I mean, on the car side. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with Guy Bottrell.
You reckon, eh?
Yeah.
And reason B, throw it out there, because I mean, Janelle's up there, but reason?
If, ands and buts. I expect Janelle to be there.
Okay, fair.
Janelle he will lurk in the top 5.
Okay.
And he's got a incredibly good, I wouldn't bet against Janelle winning this race.
Yeah, me neither.
I would put a small wager on him winning. But I expect Janelle to be there. So the other thing is our research department are just coming up with absolute gems, which we will address that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a whole team there. I just love exactly how they do it.
And what a handsome bunch of guys.
So to go why Guy Bottrell, the way he went from where he started to 20 kilos from the end contending was absolutely proper. Then, penalty and all the rest of it. So I'll still give it to him.
Okay.
Or shall we go joint? No, I'll give it to Guy.
Don't join it.
I'll give it to Guy.
Let's not be soft. Come on.
So that's our thing. So there's one last thing before we sign off. Did we have a look at our route map for tomorrow? It's 462 Ks of racing, 73 liaison there, and 119 Ks of liaison. Now, the red line you'll see there, that's the route that the crews will go, 600 kilometers. So when their cars leave, in fact, before the cars leave, the trucks will leave because they're supposed to not go faster than 80 Ks an hour, and the cars 130, and it is really, really strictly monitored. 462 Ks of racing, it's going to be hard. Traditionally, the first 3 days of Dakar is the culling process, the thinning out of the field process. Get rid of the stragglers, bring the size of the camp down to more manageable, and some cynics might say slightly cheaper to operate, bivouac. And then the real racing starts. And so tomorrow is going to be tough. On that note, talking about tough, fast, and the aged, shall we sing him happy birthday? We won't. Together. He's a bike guy. He's a bike guy. You have the honor.
So I mean, obviously we're talking about Brad, but I mean, what a gift, hey? If you think about it. But we're throwing it out there. Alfie Cox, we believe it's your birthday today from our research team. But Alfie, from myself and from this handsome chap next to me, we wish you a happy birthday and all the best. And hopefully you're having a fantastic celebration out that side of Saudi.
Happy 61st birthday, Alfie. And remember, Alfie's done Dakar on cars and bikes. Proper legend. On that note, Clifford, to all of you who've watched, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your input. We really do appreciate it. It gives us, at least we know somebody's watching, and it gives us some good talking points and helps to point us in directions. Think of a question for us for tomorrow, and we'll definitely answer it. So we'll be back at 7:24 tomorrow. The time is very specific. If you'd like, put your comments down there on why you think 7:24 in the evening. On that note, thank you to our technical team, to the research department, catering and transport, as well as to the building managers of our cave at the global headquarters of Raceday TV at our secret location,
21 Woodlands Drive,
in Joburg. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening. Remember, be nice, be kind, be lekker. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.